All right. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone out there in Mamas and Coffee Land? How are you today, Marla?
I am doing well, Sybil. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming here and chatting with us at Mamas and Coffee. Super excited and pumped that Marla is giving us some of her time to share her stories and just have this real, raw, and random conversation with us because y'all know, like, we really real, raw, and random up in here. And yo, I gotta before I introduce Marla, I gotta say I met Marla in person. Was it a year ago, year and a half ago at Mick,
Where? What city? What state?
Washington D.C. at the Mick conference.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And then 19?
Hmm. Yeah. Was it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year.
I have COVID brain. I'm sorry.
Girl. Yes. You were. We were at the Mick conference. We had kind of chatted a little bit online, and then we actually ran into each other, and they thought we were twins.
Yes.
Are we twins?
We are technically from the same Adam and Eve type situation. Yes, we are.
Yes, yes. And so it was so funny to me because I was like, well, maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's the hair. But ever since then, I've kind of been pinging her, asking her random questions, and she has always been there to answer and help me along the way. So thank you so very much for that, Marla.
You're awesome. I love what you do, and I love watching you because you are a hoot.
Girl, when you told me that you saw me in my pajamas and my headscarf, I was like, oh my gosh.
I love it though. And I asked, where'd you get it from? Because I need one too.
Girl, Amazon. Amazon or just the hair store. Like I haven't done those videos in a while though, because there's no need for me to be up that early in the morning.
Yes, no, absolutely not.
There's not. So let me go ahead and give this brief intro of Miss Marla, and then she is going to introduce herself. All right. So Marla is the author of My Thoughts Abandoned. She is also a freelance writer, blogger, and speaker. As the founder of the Bautista, did I say that?
Bautista?
Bautista Project Inc., a nonprofit that provides for homeless community members in Tampa, Florida, Marla spends her time feeding, educating, and mentoring people in need.
Yes.
So I'm going to let Miss Marla take it away from there and add any extra stuff she wants us to know about her. And then I do have a couple questions for you too. So
Awesome. Well, hi everyone. I'm Marla Bautista. And like Sybil said, I am an author. I'm a writer by trade. That's actually what I went to school for. I went to school for communications. But my passion is giving back to those in need. And I do that through my nonprofit, and we do that as a family. Our entire family gives back to communities in need. We do that by providing food, hygiene, mentorship, and other educational resources to help homeless community members. And we've actually done this all over the world. We're here in Tampa, Florida now. My husband is in the Army, and he was recently stationed here at MacDill Air Force Base. But we've done this in New York, in Colorado, and in Germany. And this is just something that our family loves to do. And so we make sack lunches, which will actually be going out tomorrow to the streets. And we go and we hand them out as a family, and my entire family participates. My 10-year-old son, my 8-year-old daughter, and my 5-year-old son. They all help us make sandwiches, and they also love doing videos. So if you're ever sliding by YouTube or the Bautista Project Inc.'s Facebook page, these kids love doing videos. I mean, my son could have we should be millionaires, but we're not, because I have my whole phone is full of feed of Christian making me, hi everyone, this is Christian, and today I'm going to show you how to play with Legos.
yeah, did we just do a video about packing the lunches the other day? Okay.
My 5-year-old, and he's like dumping all the things in the bag. He's like, we're gonna match the blue granola bar with the the blue chips, and yeah, he loves doing them. But you know, it's such a great thing that we're able to teach our kids how to give back to community, and also it helps the community as well, because when homeless community members, often they feel like they don't belong. They feel like they're not a part of our community because we treat them differently, and that's not okay. And so my family, we go out there, we chat with them, we laugh with them, we eat with them, you know, and so it gives them the feeling of belonging, and that's so important for everyone, not just them, but we have that need too. All of us, we all have a feeling that, you know, we want to belong to something, and so do they. And so just being out there, it brings them joy just to see the kids, and you know, to get to love on the kids and us love on them is just, it's just magical for all of us. So it's just a great opportunity for everyone, and we're helping change the world.
Yes. Yes. So how often do you guys go out? Is that every?
So right now, because of COVID, we were going out to do sack lunches. Snack packs is what they're called. And we were doing it every week. But when the pandemic hit, we started going out every 2 weeks. We didn't want to stop going out completely because a lot of the shelters and the soup kitchens weren't opening their doors. And so we definitely wanted to make sure they at least had a meal and make sure they at least had basic hygiene essential, so that they can at least, you know, be okay.
Right.
And so right now we're going out every 2 weeks. So we're going out, we're handing out hygiene kits, and we're handing out snack packs, which is our sack lunches. And so we're doing that, and that's super easy to do and super cheap. So anyone can do it. Like, you don't have to be a part of an organization. You don't have to, you know, give to these big organizations. Like, you can do these things yourself.
So I'm going to ask you this now, and I'm going to make sure that I include this when I do the write-up, and we'll talk about it as well at the end, but how can people like reach out to assist with your organization to help you get, you know, the sack?
So what people can do to help our organization is they can visit our website at www.thebautistaprojectinc.org. And there is multiple ways that you can get involved with our community. You can donate, of course, the traditional way. You can donate money, and for every $1 that you donate, you provide a meal for one person. That's what it costs us to feed a person. So if you're donating $5, you're feeding 5 people. And so we also have a donate button on our website. So we take like PayPal, Cash App, all of those traditional types of donations. But we also have an Amazon wish list there. If you want to provide actual hygiene products to us, we do accept travel size hygiene products that you can donate to our organization, and we take them directly to the streets, to the people in need. So that's a great way to get involved. Also, we're gearing up for our winter mission right now. So our winter mission it's different here in Florida. By the way, we were at so Fort Drum, New York, Florida, or Fort Drum, New York's winter is completely different from Tampa's winter.
Yes.
Winter mission with the Bautista Project Inc. is actually to make blankets and pillows for children's homes, for children in need. We make those out of old military uniforms that have been donated to us. We don't use like military like fabric. We actually use the uniforms, and we cut them up, and we use them to make blankets. Now, if you've ever had a service member who's transitioned, or who's getting ready to retire, or who's been through all the uniform phases, you know that literally we're dumping those uniforms in the trash. And so instead of doing that, we ask that people donate them to us, and we do cut them up and we use them for blankets. And what's really cool about this project is that when we're donating these blankets and pillows, they're only going to children in group homes, in foster settings as well. And we want to give them something to make them feel like they belong as well. So, and that's part of my own story, and I'll get to that shortly. But we want kids to feel like they belong to something and to have something to call their own that's theirs. So we donate these blankets and pillows to them, and it's theirs for their life. It's not something they have to return. It's not donated to the shelter itself. It's donated to the individual. And we want them to have it forever. And not only do they have something to call their own, but there's also a story behind it. A hero wore that uniform.
Mm-hmm.
They either wore it to battle, they wore it to their office, if you're my husband and you're watching. Um, but these uniforms were worn by American heroes, and I want them to understand the strength behind our military service and behind our service members and their families. And so that just, I feel like it empowers the children just to live out their dreams and to do their best in life. And so that's why we do that. And so we're preparing for that here in Tampa. This is our first time doing it here in Tampa, Florida. I hope it goes over well with these big blankets. But this is our winter mission. And so we're just super excited because, again, our kids help with that as well. My daughter loves to sew. She's a fashion designer. She's 8. So she cuts up all of her sheets and things to make outfits and things. So this is a great opportunity for her to use those skills. In a positive light and cut up some fabric and help us sew blankets.
That is nice. I like that because, taking that time and giving something special to the kids. And I will say for myself, a lot of times when I see most of the homeless community that I see are adults.
Yes.
And when we were living in Hawaii, prior to DC, I think that was the first time that I realized that there was a population of homeless children, because like Tent City is a real thing. I watched the documentary. It's a documentary, so that it's real, but you don't really make the connection until you see it every single day. And it also dawned on me that every homeless situation is not what the movies portray, right? And so I had, I won't say my age because I'm very seasoned. There was a lot that I had to learn and take a look for myself of what was going on out in the world and in the community. And I even had to kind of check myself on how I responded to homeless people. And when we moved here, my husband, every day he would come home, he had met a gentleman just on the train because he rides the train. And at Christmas time, he went out and bought a Christmas card. And I said, who are you buying? Because for him to go buy a Christmas card, right? And I said, who are you buying a Christmas card for? And he said, my friend Pierre.
Oh.
Like, your friend Pierre? I don't have a friend named Pierre. We had a dog. We used to have a dog whose name was Pierre. So I'm thinking like he's having a moment, right? And I'm looking, and he said, no, he's like, there's a homeless man that I see almost every day at the train station.
Oh.
And every single day, I greet him, I speak to him, and just saying hello. And if I have a couple of bucks, I give it to him or buy food. And so for Christmas, he got him a gift card to go to one of it's like a little coffee shop. And he's like, this would, help him out for a little bit of time. And I was like, okay. But we had to change our own mindset of dealing with the homeless community.
Yes, absolutely. And what a lot of people don't, I'm not saying that they don't realize it, but we just don't cognitively, kind of accept that they are part of our community. They are absolutely, if they're on the street in your community, they're still a part of your community.
Mm-hmm.
And so they matter. And a lot of people don't realize that. Especially when you said Hawaii, what most people don't realize is there are so many employed homeless people in Hawaii. Yeah. They have jobs, but they can't afford the cost of living. Yes. And it's something that I absolutely am passionate about and I advocate for, because we think that when we see a homeless person, oh, well, you must be either disabled or lazy or whatever. That is not always the case. a lot of times they have jobs that they're going to every single day and they cannot afford to survive. In Hawaii, we lived there. When we lived there over a decade ago, I mean, the cost of living was crazy. I'm pretty sure it's even worse now.
Yes.
And so just imagine, you know, you being a single mother or, you know what I mean, trying to take care of your kids and you're working at McDonald's. There's no way you can survive on that income. There's no way. And so a lot of people don't get to see that. And they don't get to see that some of these people are well-educated people that just have fallen on hard times.
Yes. Yes. Which that's going to lead me to ask you this question of your story of why your mission is with the homeless community.
Yes. So to the deep.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Like I like people to understand and to know why I'm so passionate about it and why this is so important to me. And it's because I was homeless. I lost my parents, my biological parents, before I was 10 years old. And I had a really difficult upbringing. I was left with someone who abused me until I was 18 years old. And once that person was done abusing me, I was thrown out onto the streets with nothing. I had no money. I had no vehicle. I had nothing but a trash bag full of clothes. That's it. And I had to learn how to survive. I had to learn to live life on my own. And I went from shelter to shelter, and it was just difficult. It was a really difficult lifestyle. But what I want people to know about that was there are people like me out there. Yes, I am educated. I have a bachelor's degree. I have an associate's and a bachelor's degree. And I have done so many great things, but I also was homeless. I also struggled through life. And it was difficult. And I want people to understand that there are people like me out there. If you're willing to give them a moment of your time just to hear their story, I'm not asking you to give them money. You don't have to give them money. But just the sheer thought of care and concern changes people's lives. And you know this because we're all the same human. We are all the same human. And what people don't realize is that they're no different. They're absolutely no different, especially now during the pandemic. People are more close to homelessness than ever. Imagine those essential workers. In America, what we thought was essential before the pandemic was absolutely not what became essential. McDonald's shouldn't be essential. McDonald's is essential to Americans. I'm not going to lie. I visit there. We do Happy Meals all the time. I'm probably bought thousands of Happy Meals since the pandemic started. I'm not going to lie.
I do Happy Meals for myself and Carlos. Carlos likes McDonald's fries.
You're going to kill him. Oh my gosh.
He likes their fries.
That's so bad. But honestly, did you think that was essential prior to this?
No.
I absolutely didn't believe that McDonald's would be an essential job.
No.
Bring this. Now imagine those people that are surviving on the McDonald's income, and imagine when their kids got taken out of school because of the pandemic and daycares got shut down. Where do you think their kids are? What do you think they're doing to survive? Because they have to keep going to work.
Yes.
Because if they go to work, they don't get a check. It's not like a military lifestyle, or, you know, if my husband goes to work or not, he's still getting a check.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
And so when you look at that should show you that there is a very, very fine line between being okay and not being okay.
I will say when you first shared your story with me, and we spoke on the phone. It was one of my days that I was like, "Can you talk to me for a moment?" I think it was like one of the first times we talked on the phone. We've talked on the phone like 2-3 times, maybe. I think.
Maybe.
And I was like, "Can you talk to me?" And we were talking, and I got off the phone, and I don't cry, but because I'm not a crier, but I teared up.
Aww.
Because it was one of those again, one of those eye-opening moments, because you are Marla. You are the lady that I see online. You're the freelance writer. You're speaking on military spouse platforms. And so it kind of took me back a little bit and was like, oh, wait a minute. This was her life. And we don't really think about that. We don't think about situations that people have dealt with in the past, current situations. We're kind of in our own bubble, and we live our own life every single day. And being in DC, we see homeless people all the time. Yeah. And my daughter, she goes to, when school was in session, between school and practice, she would walk to 7-Eleven with friends.
Oh, okay.
She came home one day and she was like, that some of her friends had made some comments to it was a homeless man sitting in front of 7-Eleven, and she's like, no, that is not okay. Like, why are you making fun of this man and poking fun of this man? You don't know what his story is. You don't know what his situation is. And that really made me proud, as her mom, because I'm like, okay, I had never had that conversation with her. We never talked about how to handle situations like that. But I was like, oh, yes, you do have some humility here. Like, yes, thank you, girl. So talking about all that you do and having children and working, and we were talking about, when they were in school, yada, yada, yada. We're going to change gears here a little bit. How you doing? How you doing? Everybody been home? Because they've been home since like March.
I'm just going to say this. If the door is open, they will go. I'm sorry.
Girl, look.
People that don't agree with that, but and they're like, well, you're a mother. Well, when I signed that contract, it said they were going to go to school and they were going to be educated and all of these extra things that I could put them in, like my daughter's in cheerleading and all the things. And then all the things stopped. And that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun at all.
So are you guys still Florida is still planning to start school in person?
Yes, so we just got a notification yesterday. School was supposed to start August 10th, so they did push it back to August 24th.
Okay.
So they're giving it about an extra month at this point to, I guess, get everything prepared. So we're just hoping that the 24th is the 24th of August, and we're gonna keep it that way. I would like that to happen. Please.
We had two options. We had 100% virtual. If you signed up for 100% virtual, you were signing up for the entire year. The second option was 2 days in person. So we opted for the 2 day in person because I figured if it gets a little sketchy, we can always backtrack. And, even if that means I have to argue about getting them virtual schooling, I can do that. But you're going to go 2 days. Well, what had happened was the other day, they decided that we were starting 100% virtual.
Oh, okay. So no option now.
There's no option. Everyone is starting 100% virtual. So they have pushed us back to September 8th, I think.
Oh, when do you guys normally start school there?
I think we started last year, August 26th, because it was on my youngest daughter's birthday.
Okay.
And, she was not happy about
it.
But yeah, we, so I have a junior, a freshman, and a 7th grader.
You're in that good zone, though. That's the good zone.
That's the good zone. But our junior she just turned 16.
Mm-hmm.
So we're Tennessee residents. So we went back to Tennessee to get her driver's license so she can get them at 16.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So you're gonna let her drive to school? Well, she's virtual.
right. So she gonna drive her butt right down them steps. The plan was for her to drive to school.
Okay.
They were actually going to be on the same rotation. So that was good because our school goes from 7th to 12th grade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they're all in the same building. So
Awesome.
they were going to be on the same rotation. So I was like, great, she can drive everyone to school.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're now at that phase of wanting to drive and dating, which with COVID, that is not happening. So there is that part of
that's silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
I would let you go on a date, but COVID.
Oh yeah, no. No one can even come to our house. I'm like, y'all can talk outside, but you know, it's like,
Gosh. This
but
is really hard for everybody, especially the kids. I mean, the kids are struggling, and even for us, like we're kind of looking at it like, oh well, we've got to work, we're still trying to maintain some sense of normalcy, but then imagine what the kids are going through. Like, they miss their friends, they can't do all the normal things that I mean, the entire summer pretty much disappeared on us.
oh yeah.
And
We've had so my oldest is playing travel ball. Softball. Don't, girl.
Okay.
That was my husband's doing, because she didn't have her high school season. So so she's doing that, which is really interesting to watch. That's really been interesting. But now that she can drive, guess what? I don't take her to, you drive yourself to practice. You drive yourself to the scrimmage. I don't need to be there. Our middle rides horses.
Yeah.
So they are back riding. And that one's tough to watch because it's hot and she has the mat. They wear the mask while they are training.
Yeah.
And our youngest, she just does TikToks all day and talks to friends.
Yeah, TikTok is fun. I heard my daughter has that. She's 8 and she does cheerleading, and they're doing that with the mask on now too. They're back in the gym setting. And that's been kind of difficult because it is extremely hot here in Florida. Mm-hmm. And at first they were practicing without the mask on because for health risk reasons. Mm-hmm. Like, they're flipping around. And so that can be dangerous, you know, when you don't have enough oxygen. But they decided that they needed to be wearing the mask because they weren't able to social distance with stunting and all that stuff. So, you know, they're getting used to wearing the mask. My oldest son, he's 10, he has autism. So that's been fun. We're going to call it fun. It's been really hard to get him to wear a mask. And while some people do understand, there are a lot of businesses, I'm not going to lie, that just really, they weren't very nice about him not wearing a mask. He has sensory processing disorder. So putting on a mask is just, I mean, I don't know if I'm on YouTube or World Star, but I'm hoping I'm not. But trying to get him to put on a mask, yeah. I mean, it's been difficult. We went into Joann's to get fabric, and one of the ladies was like, oh, he needs to put on the mask. He's like, I can't. I have coronavirus. I was like, no, he doesn't.
Oh, he don't. Like, no, you don't have coronavirus.
Like, he has autism. Like, seriously. I'm like, Junior, give me a break. You know, but he's like, nope, I'm not doing that.
Nope. So how do you handle that as mom? Because I'm sure there's other moms out here that's watching this and they're like, how do you handle that? So how do you?
So with my oldest son and my youngest, because my 5-year-old is actually going to start kindergarten. And so we've just been practicing putting on our masks, practicing talking with them and just having fun and kind of doing like almost like puppet show type situations where we're putting on our mask and we're talking and we're being funny and we're saying, okay, whoever takes off their mask first loses, you know, like hot potato type situation. Mm-hmm. Just to incorporate the positive I guess, like interaction with the mask, because it is going to be difficult because you know how kids are at school.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something new for all of us. We've never done this.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever had to wear a mask in school my entire school career.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so you know how kids can be with bullying, with all of these different things. So we work together, and this is another option that you can do as a parent. Work with your child and help them make their own mask, the mask that they want to make. So my daughter, she's all about cats. Everything is meow, everything. We don't have a cat.
I was going to say, do you have a cat? Like a real cat? No.
Computer cats. And so she's like, well, I want a cat mask. So my husband went online and looked for her cat mask, and we put it on like the vinyl and pressed it onto a mask. So you can go to like Walmart, and in their like craft section, they have those sheets where you can just put it into your computer's printer and print whatever design you want, and then just iron it on. Like, do that with your child, you know, put their name on it. And so we put their names on it, and we pressed it on there onto the mask. So they all got to pick what kind of mask they wanted, except Junior. But yeah. So everybody got to pick the kind of mask that they wanted. Well, Junior's all about, like, he's super into Donald Trump, talking about Donald Trump right now. I don't know why. Whatever he's watching on YouTube, he watches a lot of FGTV.
Okay.
I don't know. And then he's doing this whole, he just does these things. He goes off on tangents, and he's like, so lately he's been throwing water on my 5-year-old. He's like, the power of Christ compels you. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. So, you know, it's just this randomness about him. We love it. It's funny. He's so clever. Even though he has autism, he's like the most clever kid, and he knows what he's doing. And he loves it. He loves making us just cringe. Whatever you want. But definitely just taking that time to just talk to your kids about like proper behavior when wearing a mask, and how to give other people space. And this is a great conversation to have, not just about right now with the pandemic, but also just in life in general. Yeah. If someone doesn't really want to be bothered, or let's just give them their space. You know, we don't need to be all on people. And that's a really hard thing for my oldest son. He has an issue where he wants to be very close. He has inappropriate distancing issues. So like if he's talking to you, he's going to be touching you. He wants to touch you. And everyone doesn't like that. And so we're just trying to incorporate that lesson of, you know, social distancing right now. And so I think that's really important. But definitely, you know, there's just so many ways you can do it. If you're going to use a bandana to make a mask, let your children help make those masks. Let them pick out the color that they want. Let them pick out the design that they want to put on it. And like I said, the sheets at Walmart that you can, the iron-on sheets, I think they're about $5 or $7. And they're big enough. I mean, it's like a sheet of paper, so you can do like 3 different masks on one sheet of paper. So you can definitely use that, and it gives a kid a sense of accomplishment. I did this myself, and this is mine. And I think that's what's going to help them also have that sense of ownership with their mask at school, to say, okay, that's mine. That's the cat mask. I made that mask. You know, I'm going to take care of it.
Well, I'm like that, and I'm grown. When, you know, I'm like, oh, I got to pick out my own mask. Yeah. My husband didn't pick out my mask and say, no, why did you give me this one? I want,
yeah. I think having also a backup plan, if you are able to get disposable masks, I saw them at Walmart. They had like the small packs of disposable masks that you can get. I think just having that backup is just always good, because what you won't know after wearing your mask for 5 minutes is different than wearing your mask for 8 hours.
Yes.
And so you want something that's light and breathable and comfortable.
Yes, because they'll be in school. For you guys, is it all day that they have to wear the mask?
Oh, I don't know if they're going to have to wear the mask all day, but I hope they're going to be in school all day. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming so. Some of the regulations here that have regulations, Army. Some of the things that they've kind of implemented here in Florida was you're wearing your mask at all businesses the entire time you're in the business, except for like if you're in a restaurant, you're actually eating, but you have to have on your mask to go like to the restrooms or whatnot. We went to Benihana's and we had to wear our mask in the restaurant. And when we sat at the table, we could take our mask off, but when we needed to go to the restroom, we had to put our mask back on to go to the restroom. So only at the table were you permitted to not have your mask on.
Okay. Because I know for us, for school, it was, the recommendation was going to be they had to wear their mask all day, except for lunchtime, which for lunch, it was not in the cafeteria.
Okay.
They would eat in the classroom, or they were going to, I think it said they were going to utilize the library.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I was kind of like, lunchtime is social, like that's the hour.
For kids, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I have one last question for you, because y'all know we can talk. But I'm not going to talk all day today. One last question, then I want you to also go back and tell us where we can find you.
Okay.
So I asked this to all of our guests, and if your husband wants to chime in, he can chime in too. He can just say his voice if he wants to. He wants to answer this question too.
Okay. Walked into my office.
Did he walk in? Did he walk in as I said that?
And then he's walking out. I don't think he wants to be on camera, but you can ask him. He can hear you.
Okay. Tell the audience one thing that you love about yourself. Now, Mamas and Coffee's motto, our thing is know you, be you, love you. It's backwards because I printed it backwards on my cup, because when I used to do Facebook Live, it showed it backwards. But now that I use Zoom, I need to print it the correct way so it shows print correct way. But our whole message is know you, be you, love you. So I ask all of our audience, all of our guests, to tell us one thing that you love about yourself.
I'll say my selfless service.
I love that.
All right, and he's back out of the frame.
Well, so let me tell you why I said, and your husband too, because last week my husband was our guest.
Oh, okay, awesome.
And so I had some folks say, "Oh yeah, you should have men come on." I'm like, "Well, it's Mama's because about women," but I like drug my husband in because, you know, I'm like, "Dude, I need you," and he's like, "Okay." So I'm like, I'm delivering another mail this week.
You got a piece of a mail here.
Yes.
I appreciate him.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, something that I love about myself is my resilience. I absolutely am an overcomer. And as many of us are, not just me, but as many of us are, and a lot of times we don't realize the things that we've actually overcome, because we're still going about our daily lives. And so we're so busy doing all the things that we don't realize that we're progressing through our life every day. And so my resilience is something that has made me a stronger person, but it has also allowed me to be compassionate towards other individuals who may be going through the same thing.
Love it. So you guys heard her. You guys met Miss Marla, and Miss Marla is going to tell us one last time where we can find her online. If you want to make a donation to her wonderful organization. If you want to follow her online, which you should. I won't ask you to do. I'm not asking you to do it. I'm telling you to go follow her online. And, you know, your support can be making donation. Your support can also be sharing the content that she publishes on her social media and on her website, because you may not be able to make a donation, but you never know when you click that share button who is out there that would be willing to or able to help on her mission. Okay, tell us where you are, girlfriend.
All over the interwebs. You can find me at marlabautista.com, which is my writer page. And so you can find out about what books I'm writing, what books are coming out soon.
Oh, we forgot to talk about your book.
Yes, I have a book that I co-authored with about 20 other military spouses, and it's a Christian book called Brave Women, Strong Faith. And that'll be out August 3rd, and you can go to millspellco.com to find out more about that book. But yes, you can go to my writer page at marlabautista.com. You can follow me on Instagram at marla.bautista.author. The Bautista Project Inc. on Instagram, the Bautista Project Inc. on Facebook, the Bautista Project Inc.org on the interwebs. And yes, even if you cannot donate, do me a favor. You can follow, like, share. And the biggest thing that you can do is listen. Listen to your homeless community members. You may not have anything to offer them, but an ear, not a Mike Tyson ear, but a listening ear.
No.
Yeah. So if you have a listening ear, like, that means so much to them. Just letting them know that they belong to your community, and that sense of pride will travel through them and it will help them.
Well, thank you so very much, Miss Marla. And we would love to see you back here. There were some comments that I didn't read. Go back through those.
I'll definitely respond to everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you having me.
Yes. Thank you. And all right, Max, we are out. Remember to know you, be you, and love you. This will be uploaded to YouTube, Facebook page, Instagram, and on the website. So if you are watching this in any other location and you want to make sure that you know on the day, like, get the fresh, straight. I don't edit, so what you see is what you get. But if you want to get in on the actual conversation, then you can join us at Mamas and Coffee Facebook group. All right.
Awesome.
Bye, ladies. All right. I do this every time. I'm like looking for the stop button. Stop.